Okay, our next session is networking in Linux. uh, in networking topic, the main points are uh, these are the main points. So let me put in here. Basically, for networking we need one network card, right? The network card is uh, physically installed in the machine. That network card also called network interface card, or in short it is called NIC. NIC. Okay, and we have to cable that card, like any cable, like internet cable, or your regular your uh, office's cable, that network cable, right? That cable we want. After the card is plugged in, or the cable is plugged in into the card, we will assign the IP. Okay, after assigning the IP, we have to make that IP assignment or configuration permanent in one file, so that when the machine is rebooted or restarted, that IP will come up every time. Okay, and there are some like commands how to bring up and down the network card and its corresponding IP. Okay, then starting the uh, networking services, that is again another command. Okay, so let's talk more on this. See, if you can go, where is the IP mentioned in your machine? The IP mentioned in okay, this is the IP of your machine. Which one is that? This one. Okay, and you can check that IP by this command, if config, and dash means a means all interfaces, and it is showing so many IP addresses and everything configured. So you can see this is the IP of your machine. Okay, and you can grab this string inet, for example this one, so that it will display this. So let me, if config dash grep inet. Okay, uh, you can change the IP of your machine. That is it's not showing the correct IP, or it was not correctly configured, so you can assign this IP. uh, this is the active IP. So if it is a ping to this, and say it is a pingable, so this is the correct IP. So in its host file, let's see, comment this and assign the correct IP, that is 07. Okay, let me foreign this year. That is old IP. So first step is to mention the IP address of your machine in etc host file. So you can do this one, cat this etc file and check if it is showing now. So yeah, this is the one. This is the correct IP. Okay, now what is my network card? My network card is, if you can see, like if config -a, it will show this one, Ethernet 0. This is my network card. And on this network card we have one IP configured, and that IP is up, and that Ethernet card's hardware address is this one. Its IP address is this one, we already discussed this, and its broadcasting address is you can see this 255 at the end. In addition, this one string 1 2 3 three cards. So after 1 2 3 cards there is this 255 number, that is usually the broadcasting number. The mask, that is called net mask, and it's like a 255 255 255.0. That means it's a class C network. If it is at the end is a .0, it's a class C network. If there are like a two cards are like a 0.0 and first two are only 255 255, that means it's a class B network. Okay, and if this one is 255 and remaining all are 0.0.0, that means it's a class A network. Okay, so we have this IP assigned to Ethernet 0 on our Ethernet 0 is our network card, or we can say NIC. Okay, now if you can go to let's see where is the configuration file for this. If you can go to etc sysconfig, so this is actually important directory. etc sysconfig, it contains a lot of configuration files for remaining services. Okay, so right now we are interested in network related, so go to network scripts. Okay, and check the configuration file, that is if ls if cfg and ethernet 0. So this is the configuration file for that ethernet card or NIC, in network in interface card, and this NIC should contain all the details to bring the IP or assign the IP to that network card. You can see this is the, and So this is commented out right now because there was different configuration we put in place, that is called bonding. Bonding is like a concept of let me explain you bonding. For example, let's take this one. Okay, for example, I have this is my computer, this is my server. Let me try draw here. This is my computer, right? And I have one network card installed in here. this is this is network card, and I have like two network cards. Okay, and to two network cards I have this cable, network cable. I have another network cable connected coming from the internet or from my other network or router. This is for example a router. Let's say a router. Okay, it's coming from router. Put in this. Okay, this is my network card, this first one. Second one, network card. Now what happens at the OS level, I can for example, this is my Ethernet 0, Ethernet 0 card, and I have another Ethernet 1, that is my another NIC. Okay, another NIC. So what I'm going to do here, I'm creating a bond of two cards, and the name I'm saying like a bond 0. Okay, and created from Ethernet 0 and Ethernet 1. So bond 0 is created from Ethernet 0 and Ethernet 1. So that means, and instead of assigning the IP address to the Ethernet 0 or Ethernet 1 on these physical cards, we are going to assign the IP to the bond 0. So that means we have, see, this bond 0 will act as a one interface or one Ethernet card. That is logical. Logical means for the system, bond 0 is Ethernet, one Ethernet card, and inside it is pointing to two physical cards. Okay, two physical cards, and this is one moment. This is my bond 0. So now you understood, this bond 0 is actually one logical interface. There is no bond 0 physically in this box, but that is the one, we can say, software file we created. Its name is bond 0, and that file is actually pointing to two physical Ethernet cards like Ethernet 0 and Ethernet 1. And instead of assigning this IP address to Ethernet 0 or Ethernet 1, we are assigning that IP address to bond 0. So that when there is any problem in any card, in Ethernet 0, Ethernet 1, still that IP address will be up and running. That is the purpose. So that means like at one time either Ethernet 0 will be up or Ethernet 1 will be mapped. 1 will be up. That is called active passive. Okay, we can make configuration also called active active. Like in active active, both the links or both the cables. This is one cable, like cable 1 or cable 0, you can say. This is just a labeling. There is no such type of cable 0 or something. This is just putting label. This cable 0 is connected to Ethernet 0 card, and cable 1 is connected to Ethernet 1 card. Okay, so both the links or the cables can be active at the same time. That is called active active configuration. And where we are mentioning that active active configuration or active passive configuration, that's in the configuration file of this bond 0. This bond 0, now we can say it's a Ethernet card for the machine. Okay, and in the in this bond 0 configuration file, we are internally adding Ethernet 0 and Ethernet 1. Now you understood? Here also I can say. Okay, so now let me save this file. Where is this? Okay, so that means this is my bond configuration file, bond 0, I can say. So you can see that how this name is similar to Ethernet 0. See, for example, Ethernet 0 was our one card, the first card, Ethernet 0, and we created this bond also, this configuration file for the bond that is exactly similar to this. Okay, and now what we did here in this case, in this bond configuration file, this is a bond configuration file. Okay, and here we mention the everything, the actually IP address. So right now the IP address is not mentioned because we have mentioned the DSCP, but we can mention that the correct IP, and what is the IP we have assigned to the machine. Let's check. Grab my this host name, and let's see host. Okay, this is the IP address, right? This IP address we are going to assign or mention in the so we can say IPADDR IP address, and this IP address, the one we want for this server. and what is its net mask? This is the net mask we have to mention. Oh, whatever. Net mask. Okay. Okay. So now you can see here my device is here bond 0. Okay, where this, what is this bond 0? This is actually the like logical ethernet card. Okay, logical ethernet card. Okay, and its IP address we have mentioned here, but sometimes most of the times the IP addresses are static, but in this case it is mentioned DSCP, dynamic host configuration. So that means we'll get a IP address every time different if you are configuring with the DSCP, and if you are configuring with the static, then static means that the IP address will not change. Static means like a stable. That IP address we can mention. It will be assigned whatever you mention in here. Okay. Okay. Now this one. Okay. Now if this is your network card, this bond 0 is network card, then what is in the actual physical network card? So you can check that what is in there. You can check in there. Check this out. Cat IPCFG Ethernet 0. And in actual, this all is not required. Okay, this is the only important. So in actual physical card you have like a device equals Ethernet 0, right? And this hardware address of like MAC address of your network card, that is always there. What is the hardware address? For everyone has got a one number, right? So this is the one number which identifies the uniqueness or the name of that card. Like for any person there is a name, right? Similarly, this is the hardware address for, this is the name of this Ethernet card. This is the name, or we can say number, or we can say the MAC address. So everyone will ask you what is the MAC address of your network card. So this network card is the unique in the network. Like if you like a 10,000 machines in your network, so every network card NIC will have this unique number. Okay. Um, I'll be right back. The guys, can you talk a little bit slowly? Can you talk a little bit slowly? हाँ जास्त पण तिकडे मला तिकडे बसले मी इथे म्हटलं okay. So this is the hardware address we were talking about, and these are the four entries we have to mention. if you are configuring the bonding. So you can see that the contents of the it, regular physical Ethernet card and the logical bond 0 are different. Okay, so here this onboard equals S, that is always there, but these are the user control, no, because it's not controlled by the user. And these two are the important entries. So the master is bond 0, slave equals yes. These entries you have to put in the physical configuration file. Similarly, if you have like Ethernet 1, you have to put in exactly similar, except this one, because this hardware address will be changed for the second network card, and there is no second network card on this machine. That's the reason there is no. But if there are like a 2 cards or like 3 cards, 4 cards, network cards, then you can, you know, you can make a combined bond that is called logical network card, okay, which contains so many physical cards. And what is the name of the logical network card? That is bond 0, ls minus l if cfg bond 0. This is the name of the file for the bond 0. And what is bond 0? Bond 0 is the logical card, okay, which is created from so many physical cards. But in practically in day-to-day life, we create this bond 0 from only 2 physical cards. Why only 2? Because if something goes wrong on this, on first card, we have still another card in its cable. That means they are backup to each other. Like Ethernet 0 is active. Manu, your friend is calling. You can pick up that.
From Buda Media.
That means if like Ethernet 0 is active, Ethernet 1 still can, Ethernet 1 will be standby. Or if Ethernet 1 is active, Ethernet 0 is standby. Standby means like it's a backup. Or we can put in active, the we discussed before, like that. That means if there is any problem in one Ethernet card and its cable, or it's a routing port here, like for example here this is a port, like this router has also some kind of ports, or we can say port, or like some slots, right? If there is any problem in here, this complete link, complete path, any problem, like any problem, what kind of problems could be, like for example you put in the system administrator put in some the wrong IP address, or some typo in the configuration file, still in that case the Ethernet 0 will be down. If this network card, Ethernet 0 network card itself has problem, like throw that into network card, so in that case there will be like physical or hardware level problem in here. Similarly, this cable, like somebody is working in the rack of the machine or somewhere, right? The cable has some problem, or the cable itself is not working, it's a pin is not working, or something is not working at that time. And at that time this link will be down. So in that case your machine will not be in network, uh, right? So, and similarly on this router, right here, router, there is some slot, or we can say port. If that port is not working, in that case your this complete link will not be working, right? So or something, but there is like a power, like power adapter somewhere, and it's the power adapter is not working or it's down because of some reasons. So this your complete link will not be working. So there could be any possibility that ethernet 0 where you assign the IP may not work. So in these scenarios you have to configure the e- another card, ethernet card, so that it will be backup to your main ethernet card. So that's the reason. So if you configure the bond 0 and something is down, if something is down, still your bond 0 will work, because you have the another, the path, complete path, like you have like another uh, physical card, you have another cable, and we have another the router port, right? You have everything twice. That's the reason you have to configure the bond 0. If something is down, that bond 0 or your machine doesn't know what was down, because you have configured in such a way that if one is down, still another one is up. So that's the reason you have to configure the bond 0, or we can say bonding. Now you understood uh, the purpose of the configuring the bond. Okay, so there are like two files. One is your actual this physical. Let me take backup. Like if I say cp, and let me take this backup. Okay, I don't know. I can say bk old one. Okay, see we don't want this all this junk. Okay, we just want only these entries for my ethernet card configuration. This configuration is for bonding purpose, this master and slave and all this, that is for bond. If you do not have in machine any bonding configured, in that case you can just remove these two entries and put in your IP address and netmask in this file itself. That means that the IP address and netmask we have mentioned in the bond file, this net. So IP address is very important. Without IP address you cannot do anything. So you have to mention this IP address in the your Ethernet 0 file. So in that case, what will be the entry? Let me show how it will be the entry. If say Ethernet 0, let me show you. Like for example, like for example I have Ethernet 1, just pretend that you have the second Ethernet card, right? That is Ethernet 1. So in that case you will not have, no, for example you are directly assigning IP to the Ethernet card instead of assigning IP address to the bond. So in that case, uh, and for example the Ethernet 1, see device, what is the device is your Ethernet 1, right? And its hardware address, something hardware address, right? We don't know right now, uh, and that hardware address, and these are the, this this entry is not required, and that's all. Okay, uh, let's put in something different at it. Okay, so if you do not have any bond configured on in your machine, in that case, uh, these are the entries you have to put in, like these are the, this is the way you have to put in the entries in your configuration file. And in that case there will be no bond configuration file, like if cfg dash bond 0, you can just delete that. That's not required. By default it will not be there, this like bond 0, right? So this is not required if you are directly assigning IP address uh, to the network card, the physical network card. And if you are directly assigning IP address to the Ethernet card, in that case you will not have the resiliency and the backup means like if this card is down, your machine is out of network, nobody can connect to your machine. If your machine is not in network, there is no use of that machine, there is no use of that server. Okay, that's the reason, instead of assigning IP address directly to the Ethernet card, you create a, like a bond, a logical Ethernet card which internally contains multiple physical cards, and that logical card has the IP of your machine. Now you understood. And so you know the concept now. And the next one, you can, if you configure the, so right now we don't want this file because that was just for example. Okay, and so now you know how to configure. Okay, there is one more entry, you can say like a grep one, see mod probe. In mod probe file you can go to etc cat mod probe, right? You can see like you have to add these two entries, like alias, like is bond 0 bonding, then options for those, that bond 0, you know what kind of mode is that, like active backup, like means if you have like a two Ethernet cards, the Ethernet 0 for example is active, and the Ethernet 1 is the backup. And out of those two, which one is primary? So you can say Ethernet 0. If you like Ethernet 1 is primary, then that is okay. You can just mention here. The machine will consider that particular NIC as the primary. Okay, so what are the configuration changes required for creating a bond from the multiple Ethernet cards? One is that HCC config network scripts. Uh, in this you have like two files. One is like your main physical Ethernet card, right? This one file, and and that is physical card, and you have like bond 0 you created, that one. So these are two files, right? So this bond 0 is created from the Ethernet 0. Right now in our case we have only Ethernet 0, you know. uh, but you can add, if you have like a more network cards, so you can add if you can create if cfg dash Ethernet 1. If you want to if you want to add a third card, you can create like if cfg dash Ethernet 2, and its contents will be exactly similar to this, except two entries. Instead of Ethernet 0, it will be Ethernet 2, that the third card we are talking about, and its hardware address of that network card will be different than this one. Okay, and these are the two files, right? And the third file is, just now we discussed this modprobe.conf. Like these are this is the module configuration file. You have to mention everything, whatever modules you are loading to the machine, you have to mention here. So for the bond we have to mention this kind of modules options. Okay, so this is the third file for bond configuration. Okay, after that you have to start the network services. So for the starting the network services, you can use that same command we used before, like service network start, or we can say restart. Restart, what it does, it brings down everything, and and brings up everything. So everything means what? It if the IP address was assigned to this bond 0, it brings down that IP address. Then it checks this configuration. This command is going to check all these configuration files and bring the IPs and the net mask and whatever you mention as per these files. Okay, so restart means like bringing down and then bringing up with these IPs. Okay, so let me restart this. You're showing shutting down this bond 0. Okay, see now it is gone from the network. So this is the, like, if there is a problem in the configuration, the machine is not in network and you cannot do anything. This is gone, and you have to find out what are the changes you have done. So in this case, how to solve this problem? You go to the console of that machine, because this we have connected from the SSH. See, this machine is gone out of network, right? So in this case, what you have to do, go to the console of that server, your this server, right? And for console means like the administration console, you know. Physically you have to go there. There are like some other options like over the net also you can get and connect to that and make the the changes. If you have done any changes, revert the changes or find out where is the problem and then fix the problem. Okay, now you understood everything. I wanted to show the ethernet tool, tool, but this machine is down right now. So basically, okay, this we were trying, but it tool, and put in your ethernet card name is like eth0. It will display the all the parameters. So you can set the speed using this eth tool. This is very important. This tool is very important to set up uh, to set or configure the ethernet cards performance parameters. For example, you can say like if you want to display the settings of your ethernet card, like maybe like ethernet 1 or 0 or 2 or anything. Okay, so you can type in this one. Then they're like auto negotiable or full duplex, or speed is 100 MB 1000 mbps, right? In that case, for example, if you want to set auto negotiable on, so in that case like eth tool, right, dash s eth0, like dash s, and auto nego auto neg means negotiable, and you can say off. So what this command does, this dash s means set on what, this ethernet card. Okay, and what is to be done, so auto negotiable off. Okay, similarly if you want to do, like if you want to set the uh, speed like a 1000 duplex, so you can say eth tool dash s. For example, if you are ethernet 1 card, right, and you can say speed, or you can say duplex full, like this. Or you can say if you want a speed like 1000, so set ethernet something, ethernet 2 or whatever you have, the speed 1000. These are the commands you can execute and to enhance the performance of the ethernet card. So this machine is gone out of network. So now, okay, one more command I wanted to tell, that is tcp dump dash I, and put in your network card name, like for example ethernet 1, or you can say 0, right? So this will show the network packets going from the, or network traffic going from the, you know, going or coming from this your network card. You can try this command. All right, so this is for this networking. So in short, you know where are our network related scripts or the configuration file, that is in this contains, its sysconfig contains the system related configuration files, and network scripts contains the network related especially. So today you learned what is the purpose of uh, bonding, how to configure it, what is the network card, how what is the its configuration file, and how to edit or assign the IP addresses permanently in the configuration file, and how to start the services. Okay, and that's all for today, and we will discuss some other topic in the next session. Have a great day.